I'll start the class. So, where is the class? Can you see the slide, guys? Is this slide visible to you? Hello.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So yeah.
Yes,
So,
sir.
thank you. A short recap is that like we actually in our previous class we discussed some of the definition of a scalar and vector quantity, and we actually describe how to express a vector mathematically. Okay. So we actually I discussed that if you wanna express a vector, then you need two things. One is the magnitude, and the second thing is the direction. So, and then I discussed how to express a vector using or with the help of unit vector notation. Unit vector notation are I, J, K. So if you have a two-dimensional vector, then you can write this like AX, I, A, Y, Z, or AX cos theta plus A sin theta Z. And if you have three-dimensional vector, then you can write it like this: BXI plus BYZ plus BZK. Here, I, J, and K are unit vector along X direction, Y direction, and Z direction. That was the thing. And also I discussed how to express a vector if a vector is expressed mathematically or in unit vector notation. This notation is actually called unit vector notation. So if a vector is expressed in unit vector notation, then how to plot it? This one was also discussed in our previous class. And then we ended up here that if a vector, if the magnitude and direction of a vector is given, if the magnitude of and direction of a vector is given, then how we can find out or how I can write this vector mathematically. Okay, how I can write this vector mathematically or in unit vector notation. For example, here a vector was magnitude of a vector was given 5, and that makes a 30-degree angle with the positive of x-axis. Then how to write this vector? So I show you yes in last class that we can write this as like 4.33i plus 2.5g. So that was the end of the class in our previous. That was the end of last class. So let's discuss a little bit more about this thing. Let's say a vector. Now, different. Let's discuss from a different point of view. Okay. Give me a minute. So presentation to বোধহয় চলে গেছে, right? Hello.
জি স্যার, প্রেজেন্টেশন চলে গেছে।
Give me a minute. Actually, I cannot open the pane over here. Okay. So share the screen with you guys. Now you can see the slides, right? So today, actually, we are gonna, in our last class, what we discussed is that if the magnitude and angle is given, if the magnitude and angle of a vector is given, then how to write this vector in unit vector notation. We finished here in our last class. Now, consider in now attack this problem in a opposite direction. It is like, let's say a vector is written in this way. A vector is written as, let's say A is a vector. This is written as 3i plus 5j. A vector is given as 3i plus 5j. So this is a vector, no doubt about it. And then I am just asking you guys now, like let's say, and this is the plot of this vector. This is vector A. This is my x y direction, and here is my x direction, and this is the angle A. This is A vector. Now I'm asking you guys, what is the angle theta? What is the angle that the vector makes with the x-axis? Okay, I want to know the theta from here, and also what is the value of, what is the magnitude of the vector? I need these two things. I want to know theta equal to what, and magnitude of the vector is what. This is what I want to know from this vector. Actually, in our previous class, we see if theta and magnitude is given, if A is 5 and theta equal to 30 degree, then this is the vector in unit vector notation. Now we are going to do a different type of problem where a vector is written in unit vector notation. From where I have to find the value of magnitude and angle. So how to solve this thing? Just look here. We know A equal to what? A can be written as AX cos theta I plus AY sin theta j, right? This is how we can write a vector, right? And in this case, the vector is A equal to 3I plus 5j, right? So now, if you compare these two vectors, by looking at these two vectors and comparing them, we can say AX cos theta is equal to 3 and AY sin theta is equal to 5, right? This is what I can get from this vector. So this 3 means A cos theta and 5 means A sin theta. So if that is so, we can write AX is AX sin theta divided by A cos theta. AY sin theta. AY sin theta is associated with AY. And no, I'm making some mistake actually. A means A. I make mistake, guys. Just have a look at it. A means AXI plus AYJ. Sorry, my bad. A means AXI plus AYJ, and AX means A cos theta, and AY means A sin theta. And from here, just by comparing these two, we can say A cos theta means 3, and A sin theta means 5, right? So if I now divide A sin theta by A cos theta, this will give me what? Tan theta, right? And the value of A cos theta is 3 and A sin theta is 5. So that means theta equal to tan inverse 5 over 3. So this is how I can get the value of theta. Is it clear?
Yes,
This
sir.
is how I can get the value of theta, or
Yes, sir.
the angle that the vector makes with the x-axis. And the second thing is I want to know the magnitude or A. So A means, so what I can do, I can write like A square cos square theta plus A square sin square theta. And this is basically equal to 3 square plus 5 square, or this means A square. I can take moment sin square theta plus cos square theta equal to this is like 9 plus 16, 25. So that means A square is equal to 34, right? So that means A is square root of 34. So square root of 34, this is the magnitude. This is the magnitude of the vector, and this is the angle of this is the angle that the vector makes with the positive x-axis. So now we can see that if a vector is written in a unit vector notation, from here we can find out magnitude and direction. And also conversely, what we can do, if the magnitude and angle of a vector is given, using this information, we can also write the vector in unit vector notation. Okay. So now I want to do a little more thing. One more thing, that is angle, about the angle. Now my one question is like this: if let's say a vector is written as magnitude of a vector A equal to 3, and the theta is minus 20 degree. So how to write this vector now? How to plot this? And if I ask you to plot this thing, theta equal to minus 20 degree, what does minus 20 degree means? Do you know this thing, guys? Or theta equal to, let's say theta is 50 degree. What does minus 20 degree or plus 50 degree means? When we what does minus means and what does plus means?
Negative means
how to go through minus?
below the x-axis.
So let's say x, this is my x-axis, this is y-axis. Always angles are measured from positive x-axis. So the angle will be measured from the positive x-axis always, from this line, the red line. Okay, always এখান থেকে আমরা measure করব. Okay, and now positive axis are, in order to measure positive angle you have to go counterclockwise. That is, you have to go counterclockwise this way. Okay? Counterclockwise. Positive. Okay. And if you want to measure a negative degree, minus 20 degree, then you have to go clockwise direction. That means clockwise means a degree. This is minus. So clockwise means negative. So if someone saying that okay, the magnitude of the vector is 3 and the angle is 20 degree, that means minus 20 degree, by the way. So this is my positive x direction. So minus 20, let's say this is minus 20. So this should be your vector A vector. And plus 50 is like this. For plus 50, you have to go counterclockwise this way. Okay. It's 5. Is it clear? The positive and negative angle. Is it clear to you guys? For how to draw the positive and negative angle? Okay. So now, what we'll be doing now, we are gonna add the vector. We are gonna add the vectors. Let's say we have two vectors. Okay. So here is a math. Let's try a math. What are the x component and y component of a vector A in the xy plane if its direction is 250 degree counterclockwise from the positive direction of x-axis and has a magnitude of 7.3 meter? Can you do it, guys? What is the x component and y component of a vector A in the xy plane if the direction is 250 degree counterclockwise from the positive direction of x-axis? So now, see here what they are saying. They are saying that a vector A is a vector that makes 250 degree counterclockwise. So 90, 180, and then this guy is 270. So 250 will be something here. So this is 250 degree, and then the magnitude of the vector is the vector will be like this. Okay, and magnitude of the vector. Let's say the vector is A. Let's say the vector is A. A is a vector. Okay, A is a vector, and it is given that the magnitude of the vector A is 7.3 meter, and theta equal to what? 250 degree. Okay, and this is my y-axis. This is my x-axis. And now they are asking us to find out the x component of the vector and y component of the vector. Is it clear? So x component of the vector is the projection of A on the x-axis. And my theta is what? Theta is 250 degree. So component x component is ax, that is equal to A cosine of theta. So it should be 7.3 into cosine of 250 degree. Is it clear? And ay, that is the y component, that should be A sine theta. A is 7.3 sine 250 degree. Clear? Is this clear, guys? Did you get it?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so let's try one more math. Let's say we have a few more math are here as well. So the example math, a displacement vector R in the xy plane is 1.5 meter long, and a displacement vector R in the xy plane is 1.5 meter long and directed at an angle of 30 degree, as in figure 3.26. Determine the x component and y component of the vector. Same thing here, right? Can you do it by yourself? Can you try it, guys? Hello. So same again. Here, what is the magnitude here? What is the magnitude of R? Hello. Can you hear me? Hello.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So
Yes,
same again here, same again. My magnitude is 1.5. So here magnitude of R equal to 15 meter, and theta equal to 30 degree. So what I have to find? I have to find out the x and y component. So x component is rx, that is r cos theta, and y component is ry, that is equal to r sin theta. So you just have to put the value of r and theta over here, and this will give you the x and y component. It's a kind of easy math. Let's try this one, a different kind of math here. So before that, let's try one thing. Now we want to do one thing, that is addition of vector. Addition. Today we are gonna discuss one thing, that is addition and subtraction of vector. Addition and subtraction of vector. Let's say I have two vector. Let's say I have two vector. One is a, that is equal to axi plus ayb, ayj plus azk. And I have another vector b, that is defined as bxi plus byj plus bzk. And I want to add a and b. I want to add these two vector, a vector and b vector. That is, I want to add a plus b. So if you want to add these two vectors, what do you have to do? You have to add the like component. That means you have to add the component of I with I. That is equal to ax plus bxi. That means you have to add the like component. And same again, you have to add the component of j, ay plus byj plus az plus bzk. Okay, so this is the vector. Is it clear? This is the vector sum of these two vector, a and b vector. So likewise, like let's say if I have vector a equal to 3i plus 5j, and another vector b is equal to 2i minus 4j plus 3k. Let's say here it is 2k. So a plus b vector sum of them, a plus b vector, will be equal to 3 plus 2i plus 5 minus 4j plus 2 plus 3k. So a plus b vector is basically equal to 5i minus plus j, 1j basically, plus 5k. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Same again, if you want to add, if you want to subtract two vector, if you want to subtract two vector, for example, a vector is this one and this is the by b vector. If you want to subtract them, then you have to subtract the like component, like a minus b. For example, a minus b, vector a minus vector b would be equal to ax minus bx I plus ay minus by j plus az minus bz. Okay. So this is the subtraction of two vector a and b. Okay. So what should be the value of ba minus b here? Can you do the math here? This math. If a is given by this and b is given by this, just please solve this thing and write the answer in the chat box. I want to check. What is the value of a minus b if a is equal to 3i plus 5j plus 2k and b is equal to 2i minus 4j plus 3k? Please do it. Are you trying, guys? I want to stop the sharing and check the chat box. What are the values of a minus b?
Sir, I plus j minus k.
I? No.
Sir, I plus 9
I plus 9j
minus k.
minus k. That is
I
A minus B. Yes.
minus
Yes.
K.
So 3 minus 2I plus 5 minus, see here, minus 4. It should be minus 4. Is it clear, guys? And plus 2 minus 3K. So basically it should be equal to I minus plus plus, that is 9J minus K. Is it clear? Let's try some math. Let's try some math. Some related math. So here 3 vector is given. One is A, another one is B, and another one is C. What is their vector sum? A vector is this one. This is my B vector, and this is my C vector. What should be the value of R? Or their vector sum? R is the vector sum of these two vectors. So vector R is equal to A vector plus B vector plus C vector. Okay, and their vector sum is R. This is plotted here, and they're asking me to write the value of R in unit vector notation. So A is what? 4I minus 15J, and B is minus 1.6, right? And C is this guy. So addition, if I want to add these three vector, we just have to add the like component, like 4 plus 2I minus 1.6. This is I, right? Plus now consider the J. This is my J, and this is my J, and this is my J. So component J component is minus 1.5, and then plus 2.9 minus 3.7. This is the J component. So basically it will be 2.6I, and then plus what is
0.5. 0.5.
0.5. Is it so? No, more than that, I guess. This is like 4.2, right? 5.2 minus 2.9. So 0.3.
So minus 2.3.
Minus 2.3. This should be minus 2.3. Should be minus 2.3. Is it clear? So this is the vector R. Vector R. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Right. So let's try a few more math. Let's see if we have some. I think you all are familiar with this kind of math, right?
Sir.
So there is one more math. Okay, let me leave it as a homework. Okay. I think that, do you want me to do it or you can do it? Yes. Two vectors are given. You just have to write additions. You can do it. So let me just write homework. Okay. You have to do it. So let's try something. Some difficulty. And here is one more math. In unit vector notation, what is the sum A plus B if A equal to this, B equal to this? What are the magnitude and direction of A plus B? So A vector is this is my vector A and this is my vector B. I have to find what? I have to find out the magnitude of and direction of A plus B. This is really very easy math. Let me do it. Is it clear? You have to find out the magnitude of A plus B vector. So vector A plus B is basically equal to, let's name it as R. Let's say R equal to A plus B. Okay. So A plus B means 4 minus, we have to add the I component, 4 minus 13I plus 3 plus 7J. So A plus B vector R vector equal to minus 9I plus 10J. Is it clear? So this is my vector A plus B. And then what I have to find out? I have to find out the magnitude and direction of A plus B. So direction of, what is the formula to find the direction? Bolte parbo? Can tell me what is the formula to find the value of direction?
Sign দিয়ে
Sir,
plus and minus
Up
sign
turn.
দিয়ে
দেখো এখানে from here let me write the formula once again.
Sir, A dot B equals to AB cos theta দিয়েও তো বের করা যাবে, sir.
এখানে আমি সেটা করতে চাচ্ছি না। I don't want to do this at this point. I'll do this maybe later. So if I vector is given by this a equal to ax plus axi plus ayj, so that means ax equal to a cos theta, ay equal to a sin theta. So if I divide this guy by that guy, so a sin theta over a cos theta equal to ay over ax. That means tan theta equal to ay over ax, or theta equal to tan inverse ay over ax. So my y component is 10 and x component is minus 9. So theta equal to tan inverse
10 out of 9.
10 over 9. There should be a minus here as well. And same again, if I add them up, ax square plus ay square, that should be equal to a square sin square theta plus a square cos square theta. So basically a square is equal to ax square plus ay square. So a means square root of x square plus ay square. That means magnitude of r equal to square root of ax square, that is 81, plus 10 square, that is 100. That is square root of 181. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So there should be a few more math. I'm going to give it as homework. You have to do it at home. Let's discuss multiplying of vectors. Let's discuss multiplying of vectors. So we by now we know what are the addition and subtraction of vector. We want to see how to multiply to vectors. So there, when we multiply scalar quantity, it is pretty straightforward. Let's say scalar are just number. 5 multiplied by 4, that is equal to maybe 20. 7 multiplied by minus 2, that should be equal to minus 14. Very easy, straightforward. But when you multiply two vectors, you have to follow some rules. You have to follow some rules. What are the rules here? So here, actually, there are two kinds of vector products. Here, basically, actually, I put some written document here. This is basically for your, these are the reading material. You can read this thing at home, okay? I'm not going to discuss this thing in detail here. You have to read this, study this at home. I'm going to do some math or some kind of this. So let me by myself. So if we have vector, we can multiply vectors in two different ways. Vectors can be multiplied in two different ways. One is scalar multiplication. One is called scalar multiplication. And the second one is called vector multiplication. Okay. Let's say we have two vectors. We have two vectors. One is A and the other vector is B. Let's say we have two vectors. One is A vector and the vector is B, and the angle between them is theta, and we want to multiply them. We have two vectors. One is A, other one is B, and we want to multiply these two vectors. And these two vectors can be multiplied in two different ways. One is scalar multiplication, and the other one is vector multiplication. So what is vector multiplication or scalar multiplication? In case of scalar multiplication, if we multiply two vectors, the resultant or the product would be a scalar quantity. In case of scalar multiplication, the product of two vectors, A and B, will be a scalar quantity. Let's say R is the product. Okay. And R would be a scalar quantity. And in case of vector multiplication, the product of multiplication of two vectors will be a vector quantity. Okay. So this is my A vector, this is my B vector, this is my A vector and B vector. And now see here, in case of scalar multiplication, the product is a scalar quantity, and in case of vector multiplication, the product is a vector quantity. And now how to distinguish these two kind of product, how to distinguish these two kind of multiplication when we write them mathematically. When in just in simple mathematics, when we multiply two vector to number, in case of multiplication, we write like, okay, 2 times 3, 2 into 3, or we just say like, oh, 2 times 3 also can be write in this way, right? We can use dot or we can use cross to express the multiplication. But in case of vector quantity, we are going to use dot to represent the scalar multiplication. Like if A and B are two vector, their scalar multiplication will be represented by A dot B. And that is why this kind of multiplication are also called dot multiplication. And for vector multiplication, we use the cross. So this kind of multiplication is also known as cross multiplication. So this is scalar multiplication and vector multiplication. And then what should be the value of this R? What should be the value of this R? If A and B are two vector and E and theta is the angle between them, we can write R or their product as A, magnitude of the one vector times magnitude of other vector, and cosine of the angle between them. So R means AB cosine theta in case of scalar multiplication. But for cross multiplication, the product would be AB sine theta. That's product of the magnitude of the two vector times sine of the angle between them. But here, is the right hand side is a vector quantity or not? Right side. It is vector, not vector now. Anyone? This is not a vector because it is just, this is a scalar. A is a scalar quantity. B is a scalar quantity. Sine theta is also a scalar quantity. This is not vector. In order to write it in vector notation, we need to multiply these things by a unit vector. So what do? We multiply it with a unit vector. Let's say n. We multiply this with a unit vector. What is the n? N is a unit vector. Unit vector in the direction of R. So n is nothing but a unit vector. That is, n has a magnitude 1. N has a magnitude of 1. So this will not change the magnitude of the vector, but it will give a direction. This direction is along the direction of R. What should be the direction of n, or what should be the direction of unit vector? If we multiply two vector A and B, what should be the direction of that vector? Only common. The direction of the unit vector would be perpendicular to the direction of this vector. If A vector is along x direction, B vector is along y direction, then the unit vector or the multiplication, if you cross multiply these two vectors, the direction of the product would be along z direction. Now, is it clear, guys? Let's discuss a little more about this kind of thing. Here. Now, I want to discuss the multiplication of unit vectors. Multiplication of unit vector. Let's say, what are the unit vectors? I, j, and k. These are the unit vectors. What I want to see, if we multiply them, what result we are going to get? At first, let's discuss the scalar product, scalar multiplication, scalar multiplication. Let's say I and j. I want to multiply I with j by a dot. What should be the value of I dot j? What should be the value of I dot j? The magnitude of I is what? A dot B means magnitude of I, that is equal to 1, magnitude of j, that is also equal to n, and cosine of angle between them. What is the angle between I and j? I is along x direction and j is along y direction. So what is the angle between I and j?
90.
90 degree.
90 degree.
And cosine 90 degree means 0.
1.
Cos 90
0.
means 0. Okay, so 1 into 1 times 0 equal to 0. So I dot j equal to 0. I dot k, same again, will be 0. 1 times 1. Angle between I and k is 90 degree. Equal to 0. And same thing will you are going to get for j dot k. So if you multiply two unit vector by a dot product, two different unit vector by a dot product, the result will be 0. And again, if I write I dot I, what should be I dot I? Multiplication of magnitude of I times magnitude of I times cosine of angle between them. I is along x direction, this I is also along x direction, that means angle between them is 0. So 1 times cos 0, that is 1 times 1 times 1, that is equal to 1. So I dot I equal to 1, same we are going to get for j dot j, and k dot k is also equal to 1. Okay. Okay. Now, cross multiplication or vector multiplication. Let's say I want to multiply I cross j. So I cross j means I is 1, magnitude of j is 1, and angle between them is what? 90
90.
degree.
And,
This is sine, right? This is sine 90 degree. Sine 90 degree. And their perpendicular direction is k. So 1 times 1 times 1 times k, that's the k. I cross j mane k. And what about I cross I? I cross I equal to magnitude of I, which is equal to 1, magnitude of j is equal to 1, and angle between I is 0. So 1 times sine 0. Sine 0 means 0, that is 0. So I cross I equal to j cross j equal to k cross k. And that should be equal to 0. Okay. So these are the results that we are going to get if you multiply unit vectors. And now I'm going to multiply two general vector or generic vector by scalar product, by dot multiplication. So I'm going to discuss these three now. There is so multiplication of two vector. So this is right. Dot multiplication or scalar multiplication of two vectors. Let's say I have two vectors. One is A, that is equal to AXI plus AYJ plus AZK. This is the vector. And the other vector is B. B is equal to BXI plus BYJ plus BZK. These are the two vectors. Okay. And I want to multiply these two vectors by dot. What should be A dot B? A dot B means, so at first what I have to do? I have to multiply this way. At first I have to multiply AX with all of them. That means AX, BX, I dot J, right? Plus AX, BY, no, AX, BX, I dot I. AX, BY, I dot J, this one multiplied by this one, I dot J, plus AX, BZ, I dot K, and then now AY plus AY BX J dot I plus AY BY J dot J plus AY BZ J dot K. The same again, I have to multiply this guy with each of them. So AZ BX k dot I plus az by k dot j and plus az bz k dot k, right? And if you just look at here, in your previous example, you see that I dot j equal to 0. So this guy is equal to 0. I dot k is equal to 0. If you take a dot product of two dissimilar unit vector, the result would be 0. So I dot j equal to 0, j dot j equal to 1, and j dot k equal to 0, and k dot j equal to 0, and this guy is equal to 0. So what we left is just this guy, and this guy. So that means a dot b will be equal to ax dx. I dot I means what? I dot I means 1 plus ay by plus k dot k means 1 plus az bz. So that means if I have two vectors, and if I wanna multiply them by a dot multiplication, and if I wanna multiply them by a scalar multiplication, what I have to do? I have to multiply the x component of these two vectors plus y component of these two vectors plus z component of these two vectors, and we have to add them up. This will give me the resultant vector. Okay. For as such, if I have two vectors like this, a vector A is equal to 3i plus 4j plus 5k, and vector B is another vector that is 2i minus k. Sorry, minus k. Let's say right. Let's write it like minus. 6j plus k. So in that case, a dot b will be equal to what I have to do? I have to multiply the I component, that is 3 times 2 ax bx, right? 3 times 2 plus 4 times minus 6 plus 5 times 1. So 6 minus 24 plus 5. So if we add them up, we are going to get minus 13. A dot b equal to 13. Is it clear, guys? This is how we can find out the product of two vectors if they are multiplied by a scalar product or by a scalar multiplication. Clear? And the
Yes,
last
sir.
one for the day is cross multiplication. Let's say I have two products. Let's say cross multiplication. And then a cross multiplication of two vectors would be like, let's say a vector is A, that is AXI plus AYZ plus AZK is one vector. The other vector B is equal to BXI plus BYZ plus BZK. So if I want to multiply them by a cross multiplication, that is A cross B. So to get the value of A cross B, what I'll be doing, I'll be using the matrix technique. The technique is like this. I have to write I, and then J, and then K. So at first I have I. So after I have to write the component of I for A vector, that is AX. Component of A for the J vector, that is AY. And that for K is AZ. So then BX. For B, it is BX, for BY and BZ. Here, and the determinant will give you the value of the product, the determinant. So how to get the determinant for I? What I have to do? I have to consider just these two vectors and take the determinant. So this should be like AY BZ minus AZ BY. Right? And then for then I have to write J, right, minus J, For j, we have to consider, we have to exclude these two, this guy, this one and this one need to be excluded. So ax bz minus az bx, ax bz minus az bx, and then k. For k again, we have to exclude this guy. Consider these 2 by 2 matrix. So for k, it would be like ax by minus ay bx. Okay. So this is how we can find out the product of two vectors. This is how we can find out the product if two vectors are multiplied by a cross multiplication. Is it clear? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So, and the last thing for the day is let's finish the theory part today. Next class, maybe we are gonna do some math. So, how to find the magnitude of a vector? How to find the magnitude of a vector? A vector A is given as like axi plus ayz plus azk. This is my vector A. And what I want to do, I want to find the value of magnitude of A. I want to find the value of A. So for that, what I'll be doing, I'll be taking the dot product of A with A dot A. So A dot A is basically the vector A is AXI plus AYZ plus AZK. So A dot A will be actually equal to let me see that A dot A means I have to multiply the x component of I, that is ax square, ax times ax, that is the x square plus ay square plus az square. So A dot A means ax square plus ay square plus az square. And A dot A means what? I know that A dot A means magnitude of A times magnitude of A times cosine of angle between them. What is the angle between A and A? Can you tell me what is the angle between A and A?
Zero.
Zero.
That is 0. That should be 0 because one vector is along this way, A vector. The other vector, A vector, should be along the same direction. So angle between them is 0, equal to ax square plus ay square plus az square. So that means a square is equal to ax square plus ay square plus az square, or A or magnitude of vector A is equal to ax square plus ay square plus az square. Okay. So this is the magnitude of the vector A. That means if a vector is given this way, axi plus ayj plus azk, the magnitude is nothing but the square root of the summation of the square of each of the component. And the last thing, angle between two vectors. So angle between two vectors. Between two vectors. Let's say I have two vectors. One is A and another one is B. And the angle between them is theta. Theta is the angle between them. And by the way, let's say we know that A can be in a unit vector notation as A equal to AXI plus AYZ plus AZK, whereas B equal to BXI plus BYZ plus BZK. Okay, so these are the two vectors. And what I want to know, I want to know the angle between these two vectors, A and B. So for that, what I have to do, I have to take a dot product of A and B. And by the way, dot product of A and B means AB cosine of theta. So That means cosine of theta equal to A dot B divided by AB. By the way, A dot B means what? A dot, if this is my A and that is my B, that A dot B means AX BX. You can use this formula actually, and also we can write. So basically, this is the formula, and we can simplify this as well. So this is basically the formula to find the value of angle. Also, you can simplify it like cos theta is equal to A dot B. A dot B means AX dx plus AY by plus AZ bz, and magnitude of A is, you see, a little while ago, that AX square plus AY square plus AZ square times magnitude of B, that should be component square, summation of the component square, bx square plus by square plus bz square. So this is the formula to find out the angle. So once you know the cos theta, by taking the cos inverse, you can easily find the value of theta. So that's all for today. I wanna stop the sharing and stop the recording now. Do